should we be doing so far? Good job. Taking out your packets. Opening up to which day? Wednesday. Open up to Wednesday. Armani, put your pencil, please. Opening to Wednesday. Your quizzes should be off. Armani, pass them out. Homeworks. Please turn to your homeworks. Joe, put this as a bookmark. Close that book and put it on your desk. You have space to work. Homeworks. Who else has their homework? Janae, do you have your homework? Timothy? Josiah? Not too good. Only 3 today. So tomorrow we need to do better, right? Opening up to Wednesday. Did you have the wrong thing? That's your homework. Grab your packet. Okay, what skill are we working on this week? Hands up. What skill are we working on this week? Hands up. What are we working on, Timothy? What are we using to answer questions? Timothy? We are
using information from the text
to
answer our question.
Yes, we're using information from the text to answer our questions. Who could build on that? What does that mean? What do we call that? We gave that a name. Tajay, sit up. What did we use? Sit up? Yes? Tell Timothy. Okay. Who could build on it? We're still not there yet. What are we doing? We're using, what's the word? What's the name that we gave that? We are using explicit information. My turn. Explicit information. Your turn. What is explicit information, Christopher? Yeah, the information you get from the story. What's another word for explicit information? Starts with a T. Text.
Evidence.
Very good. Text, evidence, explicit information. What is the title of our story today? Armani? Hands up. Saving the animals. Armani, pick a super reader to read the first paragraph. Pick a super reader. Quick, 3, 2, 1. Timothy, first paragraph. So what should we do while Timothy's reading, Tajay? Track and help him, right? So let's, eyes down, go ahead.
In the early 2000s,
Good support, Joe.
Julie O'Connor,
Connor.
third grade class, but at public school 43 in New York City, help bake sale the students
Good support. What was that number?
$266, and from the sale they gave the money to help the animals at the community
Kabul.
school
Zoo.
The kids were
Excited.
to help the zoo animal O'Connor said.
Good, Timothy. Good reading. Timothy, ask a friend what that paragraph was mostly about.
What is that paragraph about?
Okay. Ask your friends if they agree or disagree.
Disagree. And I disagree with you because it is about in the 2000 her class, Julia O'Connor's third grade class, raised money and they gave to the zoo, and they they wanted to give to the zoo so that they could save the animals.
Okay, Josiah, ask someone what they did to raise the money.
What did they do to raise the money? They made a big sale.
Okay, so let's ask Janae what happened in the paragraph one more time, okay? Ask her again.
What happened in the paragraph? They made a sale and they made some money for the
Good, Janae. Ask a friend what you just said. Ask her in a sentence.
It said they made money for the big sale to get to the zoo.
Very good. So together, the four of you were able to tell me what is the main idea of the paragraph, right? That Julie O'Connor's third grade class held a bake sale to raise money to help the zoo animals, right? Okay, who just read for me? Popcorn and friend.
Popcorn or money?
Let's help her. That word is Kabul. My turn, Kabul. Your turn?
Kabul.
So when we see that word, we're not going to get stuck on it because it's what?
Kabul.
All right, let's go.
Kabul is the capital of
Chunk that word. That's a big word. Half.
Alfalfa?
No. Okay, but we're trying, right, Tajay? Are you trying? Let me hear those sounds.
African.
You almost have it. What is it? Afghan. Big. Christopher is the closest, so he got all the way to the end. He got to Afghan. Afghanistan. Put it together. Afghan. Afghanistan, the country. Okay? Good. So let's start back now at the beginning of that sentence. Armani, go ahead.
Pakistan.
Janae, hands up. Capital. Afghanistan. Country. Listen. Afghanistan. Your turn.
Smurfs has suffered
Good.
from years of war,
Bombs.
and flood have destroyed some parts of Kabul. Many animals at the zoo in the city died or
Injured. Good.
in the fight.
Armani, excellent reading. Ask a friend what the main idea of the paragraph was. No, that's not how we speak. So, turn to him and speak with your academic scholar words, okay? So speak clearly and looking at him. Josiah?
What was the main idea of the story?
Of the paragraph.
The main idea of this paragraph was about where the animals were and how they suffered from being injured or died. And some parts were destroyed by bombs and bullets. Afghanistan.
So ask a friend where they are. Where are we talking about? What country? What city? What country?
What country? What capital? What country was? What was the name of the country?
Very good. Okay. So ask him a question about those animals. Do you wonder anything about the animals? Ask a friend. What question do you have now, Christopher? You ask your own question.
Timothy, why did they start a war? They started the war because they.
Does it say why they started a war?
No.
So say, I'm not sure. sure, but I know there was a war, right?
I'm not sure.
Do we have anybody else that wants to ask a question to a friend? Timothy? You could ask a question about the first paragraph or the second paragraph.
Why was they fighting? That's the same thing Chris
Yeah,
said.
that's sort of the same thing Chris was asking, right? So we don't know why they're fighting. But do we remember what was happening in the first paragraph, Tajay? Tajay, what were they doing in the first paragraph? Was the first paragraph about the war?
No.
What was it about, Tajay?
It was about raising money for the zoo.
Okay. So, Tajay, do you want to ask a question that helps us to connect the first and second paragraph? Ask a question to one of your friends.
Think what they think what? About the second
About the bake sale? Timothy, what do you think about the bake sale?
I think they were doing the big sale because they wanted to make some money for the zoo to get to help the animals around.
Why don't you ask a friend how that might help? Ask in a sentence.
How would that make help?
How would raising money in a bake sale help the animals in Kabul, Afghanistan? Let's track our money when she's speaking now. Tajay.
To help the animals,
How does money help them?
money helps them buy either food or
Okay, that's one idea. Popcorn a friend and ask.
today.
Ask a question. Ask Timothy.
The question is, how can money help the animals?
How can money help the animals?
How can money help the animals? Money can help the animals by giving them food, to buy food for them, and buying more cages.
I wonder, do they need food?
No, cages. They should live.
Okay, let's look at the text, right? So now, listen, we're going to use the text evidence, but we're also going to start drawing conclusions, okay? So let's look. We're going to look at the text where it says, many animals at the zoo and in the city died, or they were injured in the fighting, okay? So now I'm using the text evidence plus what I already know to draw some conclusions, okay? So I know that the text says that they were injured in the fighting, in the war. Now, use your smart brain to figure out what could they use the money for in helping those animals. I know in my brain that they will need money in order to help the animals by what? Tajay? How will money help those animals who are injured in the fighting, Tajay? Tajay, what did I ask you? What was the question? Okay, so if you don't know, you have to ask that, right? So Tajay, I'm asking you to use the text information, right? The explicit information in the text where it says, many animals at the zoo and in the city died or they were injured in the fighting. Now I want you to draw conclusions with what you already know in your brain. So you have to think about that piece of information. Are you ready? So think about it, Tajay. If the animals are injured, how is money from the bake sale going to help them? You have to use your brain. It's not explicit. It's not in the text. You have to draw conclusions now. Okay, you're not going to find it in the text. Now you have to draw conclusions and use your brain, right? So how is money going to help them? How will it help those animals? Okay, who could build on that? He's somewhere, right? Good. By getting things for them. You're there, but is that specific enough?
No.
No, so who could help him? Janae?
They can
Talk to Tajay.
they can buy stuff to help the animals
Okay, that's one idea. Who could build on it? Bandages. What else will they need?
I disagree with you because I think that they can use the money for all the injured animals and take them to the vet so that they can get like more healthier and not die out like other animals.
Okay, so care from veterinarian, bandages, right? Maybe they need food because their land is destroyed, but they're doing this bake sale to raise money for a purpose, for a cause, right? To support the animals. Do you understand now, Tajay? Was that answer in the text, was that explicit information? The answer that we just came up with? No. Was that text evidence?
Yes. No.
No, right? We used the text evidence, plus what else did we have to do?
Use our brain.
We had to use our brain, Janae, good, to draw conclusions. You're right, Josiah, right? And to think. So for some answers, we're going to find them in the text. But for other answers, we have to use the text plus our brain. Okay, good. Who read last? Armani, popcorn a super reader to read Traveling to Kabul. Josiah, you're up. Track and support.
An international group of zoos led by North Carolina Zoo
Timothy,
raised
pencil in
more
the
than
purple.
$500,000 for the animals of Kabul. The team took food, medicine, and supplies to help the animals.
Yeah, I think that, did you miss one? A team of scientists and veterinarians traveled to Kabul. You read that? Okay, keep going.
The team members repaired the zoo's cages and pens.
No pencils. Go ahead.
They also treated injured zoo animals, including monkeys, antelopes, gazelles, and black bears.
Good, let's stop there. Was our prediction confirmed? Was it correct?
Yes.
How do you know? Who could tell me? Christopher, I haven't heard from you. How do we know our prediction was correct, right? Our conclusion was correct. We made a conclusion that they would hire veterinarians or get bandages to help them. How do you know that that's correct? How do you know? Chris, did they get veterinarians to help?
But Pakistan. No.
Who could help, Christopher?
Chris, I would like to know your answer because in the text it said, it said the team of scientists more than $500,000 for the animals of Kabul. A team of scientists and veterinarians traveled to Kabul, and the team took food, medicine, and supplies to help the animals. So the scientists, it was scientists and veterinarians.
Okay, so we were right. They did hire veterinarians, but they also hired scientists, right, to travel to support. Ask him what you just said.
Christopher, what did I just say? You said that they did get
Veterinarians. Those are animal doctors. Yeah, to help out. What else did they do? The team members also did something else besides just helping to take care of them. What else did the team members do?
They grown.
What else did the team members do?
Break down
the question.
They grown food, medicine, and supplies to help the animals.
Good. Build on it. What else did they do?
They caged and pen.
Yep. They also helped to fix or repair their cages and pens. Tajay put that away. And they treated the animals. Good. Okay, who could read the next paragraph? Timothy, go ahead. Help.
After finishing that at the zoo, the team members helped some of the animals by people in a cabal.
Tajay, you're not checking.
The three horses, mules, sheep, rabbits, and
Oxen, good.
oxen. For example, many cabals, residents were dependent on continue to depend on animals for work and food.
Okay. So after finishing the zoo, the team members what? They helped some of the animals owned by people in Kabul, right? They treated many different animals, and many of the residents were depending on the animals for what?
Continue.
For what? What do they depend on the animals for? Look in the text. No, look in the text. The residents are the people who live there. Resident means a person who lives there, okay? Yeah, so they depend on the animals to do work and for food, right? Think in your brain, what is some type of work that you've seen an animal do?
The cow gets milk.
Okay, the cow gives you milk, yes?
And the elephant. That's not works for us.
Tell me. Okay, so it's not work for us, so ask her. Can you think of an animal that does work for us?
Horses.
No, ask her. Ask Janae. So you said, Janae, no, that's not work for us, right? So now ask her, do you know of an animal that does work for us?
Do you know of any animal that can live for us? A chicken? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me now.
Tell me how.
All right, so that also gives us what? No, not just work. That gives us food, right? So those residents are depending on the animals for work and food, yes?
A horse.
How? Explain your thinking in a complete sentence.
We need horses
Hold on.
we need horses because some cops ride them.
Okay, maybe. Yes?
Because they have wool to make beds.
They have wool to make beds and clothes, right? Different things. Okay, very good. Let's finish it up. Listen. It says, the people of Kabul were thankful that the students of Public School 48 and others helped the zoo animals. The reality is that they're proud of the zoo and they want to rebuild it. And we will help them, said one of the team members. Turn the page. So if on Monday I helped you to answer the question, and Tuesday you worked in partners, what do you think you're doing today?
Working alone.
Yeah, why do you think that?
Because you helped us on Monday, Tuesday, we read the story, and then we worked with partners, and then today we're gonna work alone.
Why?
Because tomorrow we're gonna work with.
Why do you think it's important that we start working alone?
Because when we grow up, we're not always gonna have people to help us unless we're still in school or still in college.
Okay, good. What about on Friday? What about on Friday? Are you going to have anyone to help you? No, because it's your assessment, right? So we need to practice working alone. So what I am going to do is read the questions and answer choices to you, and then we're going to separate. Are we ready? Ready. Look at number 1. Put your finger on it. Tajay, I'm waiting for you. Number 1, based on the text, what has been a major threat to Kabul Zoo? What does the word threat mean? What's another word that means about the same thing as threat? Give me a synonym.
Disrespect.
No. Threat. Like danger. What does threat mean?
Danger.
Okay. So what has been a threat to the Kabul Zoo? Was it A, an international group of zoos? If you have a pencil, put it down. trying to shut the zoo down? C, drought. D, war. Pencils are what? Number 2, the author included a map. Why did the author include the map? So we didn't talk about the map. You're going to look at it and figure it out. Okay? A, to show the veterinarians how to get to Kabul. B, to show the reader where Kabul and Afghanistan are. C, to show where in Kabul the zoo is located. D, to show the reader where North Carolina Zoo is. Number 3, some animals found in the zoo in Kabul are bears, antelopes, monkeys, sharks, bears, camels, polar bear, penguins, antelopes, monkey, tigers, whales. So look in the text, right? The money at Public School 48 raised probably went towards A, buying new animals for the Kabul Zoo, B, moving Kabul's animals to a new zoo, C, food, medicine, and supplies for the animals at Kabul Zoo, D, medicine for people injured during periods of war in Afghanistan. 5, explain why the people of Kabul are thankful that the students of Public School 48 and others helped the zoo animals. Use information from the text to support your answer, okay? What do you think you should be using on number 5? Grace. The only thing I want you to do now is pick up your pencil and you're going to make a race checklist at the bottom for yourself. R, A, C, E, and put your pencil up.
R-A-C-E.
What's R stand for?
Restate.
A,
Answer.
C,
Cite text.
E.
Explain.
Extend. Very good. Close. Okay? So some of these answers are going to be explicit information. That means that you can underline it in the text. Erase. You're going to have to check because I just don't want you to do that. Okay? Listen. Put it down. Are you ready for me to talk? Some of these answers, sit up, are going to be explicit information. That means that they're right in the text. You could underline where you found your answer. Some of these answers are going to be drawing conclusions. That means you're going to use the text evidence, but you also need to use your what?
Your brain.
Your brain to think about the text information and find the answers. Christopher, yellow table. Janae,